A warm welcome back wherever you're watching Primetime. Now, NASA is preparing for a very different kind of return to the moon. This time, the goal is not to just get there, but to work there, moving astronauts, cargo, and equipment across some of the toughest terrain imaginable. Well, to help develop the next generation of lunar rovers for the Artemis program, NASA has selected the space company Astrolab, a pioneer in planetary surface mobility and infrastructure. So what does it take to build a vehicle that can survive and thrive on the moon? Well, joining me now is Dr. Kelly Randell, Head of Civil Space at Astrolab. Kelly, delighted to have you on the show. And firstly, I know it wasn't in the last few days that the partnership was announced, but nevertheless, congratulations on it. Tell us what it means for the company, and also, if it's not too much of a grandiose statement, what it might mean for humanity.
Well, thank you so much, Guy. We really appreciate it. I'm excited to be here with you all tonight. The partnership is incredibly meaningful for Astrolab, and we are really honored that NASA has selected us as one of the providers of the next lunar terrain vehicle for the Artemis program. Since our CEO, Jarrett Matthews, started Astrolab in early 2020, we've always been driving towards this vision of creating a vehicle that both astronauts can drive, but that can also operate robotically on the moon. So it's really the culmination of this vision that our CEO and our company has been working towards. So we're just incredibly excited to see astronauts return to the moon and have the vehicle that they'll be driving for the first time since the LRV during Apollo be one of our Astrolab rovers.
And I'll let you into a secret, Kelly. My kids asked me recently, when are you interviewing the lady that makes cars that drive on the moon? So there's been a lot of excitement, and it really, in some ways, is really as straightforward as that. But I bet it's nothing like straightforward actually creating the engineering required to make this happen. Just tell us about some of the challenges that you have to try and get over to make your lunar rovers actually work.
Absolutely. I love those questions. I always think the kids ask the best questions when it comes to science and the lunar surface. It's a very challenging environment. I mean, especially looking at the amount of time that we'll need to be operating on the moon. These vehicles will be operating for at least initially for at least a year. But then the goal, if we're building out a sustainable base on the moon, is that they'll be operating for years. So one of the challenges in particular is surviving the lunar night. So the temperature differences on the moon can be incredibly dramatic. So they can go from approximately 120, 130 degrees Celsius in the sunlight, all the way down to minus 200 degrees Celsius in the darkness and in the what we call the permanently shadowed regions that never see the sun. So being able to build something that is able to operate in that environment to stay warm when it's incredibly cold, but then also keep our instruments get that heat off the instruments to be able to operate when it's very warm is challenging. And so we're working through those different challenges, building that into our components and our instruments.
Yeah, amazing.
Another challenge is actually the lunar dust. That's incredibly abrasive. It's like little shards of glass, and it sticks to everything because it's electrostatic. So being able to make sure our mechanisms can operate, that we can keep out that dust, and also keep it off our solar panels and our camera lenses is a huge challenge.
Yeah, and just a never-ending list of things to try and conquer, I imagine. I mean, NASA's
Absolutely.
NASA's long-term goal is a sustained human presence on the moon, isn't it? How do you see Astrolab's tech contributing to that vision over the next decade or so?
I see our technology really contributing from the beginning. So we designed our rover to be what we call a last mile cargo and logistics, cargo transportation, to be able to move people around, to be able to do longer duration exploration missions. So everything that we might need as soon as a lander lands on the surface, the mobility piece is going to be really critical. We want to operate further away from the landing site. So being able to have a rover like Astrolabs be able to take the cargo from where it gets dropped off from a lander, whether it's all the different landers that NASA is currently building through the Commercial Lunar Payload Services program, and to take that cargo to where it needs to go to start building out power, data infrastructure. That's really what we'll need to start building out a sustainable human presence. And that's sort of the initial phase of the moon base that NASA's been talking about.
Kelly, for young people watching, not just my children, but I'm sure millions of others around the world who dream of working in space exploration, what skills, what qualities do you think will be most important as this new lunar economy begins to take shape?
I love this question. I think there's often a misconception about working in space and exploration that you need to be an engineer, you need to be in the sciences, you need to want to be an astronaut. But it takes all different skill sets and different roles to be able to achieve the grand visions that we have. I mean, as a planet, as humanity, to be able to go off the world and start building out a sustainable human presence. So I think for me, one of the biggest things is curiosity. You need to be curious about the world. You want to be able to collaborate and contribute with each other. And I think that will be really critical. So I think giving students an opportunity, giving young people an opportunity to see themselves in these roles, education programs, I think are so critical. And that really will give students an opportunity to see their future on the moon. And I think that will be the desire to learn, the desire to grow and work together will be really critical as we build this the moon base off planet.
Dr. Kelly Randell, it's been great speaking to you. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on Primetime. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Guy. I really appreciate it.